So, for another installment, this is the second podcast in 2 days. I'm not going to any classes tomorrow. No, my mom hears this. Let me not do that.
Your mom knows you dropped from a C in math to like a set or some shit like that.
Okay, she
Can I
knows.
swear in this?
Pardon?
Can I say bad words?
Yeah, by no means are you limited. It's your voice.
Okay. Fuck shit. Oh my god. Motherfucker.
All right, so as you can tell, an anomaly, maybe mentally a little bit of an anomaly as well. I'm not calling you slow unless you take it that way. But
Are you saying I'm acoustic?
acoustic?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
You don't get the joke.
No.
Oh, you're not on TikTok.
No.
Do you have TikTok?
No.
You don't. No, you do.
You should follow
You
my
do.
No.
You do.
I don't. I have it on my computer.
Why? You know why?
Why?
Because you have my profile on TikTok, and you know I'm a MILF enthusiast.
Okay, referring to the MILF enthusiast, what's your thing for my mom? You seem to have.
Oh, your mom is so. She's gonna see this.
No, she's gonna hear it. That's why I want you to talk about it. What about my mom do you like?
She's a really cool mom. She reminds me of mine. I just feel like she's someone you can trust, and you don't have to like have a filter, which is weird, because considering she's like
Parent,
yeah. But that's cool.
So, I didn't even ask you. Introduce yourself. Give the viewers, give the people listening to this an idea of what you identify. Not even what you identify, but who are you? Who would you say you are?
In what sense?
Oh my gosh. All right.
Okay, my name is Elida Tovias, even though people say it Tovias. Okay, I was born in San Antonio. I grew up in Mexico, so I'm basically Mexican, even though I have nothing to do with Mexico, though. No, I do. I just don't have papers there. Okay, let's make that clear.
Mom, if you hear that, call immigrant. No.
No,
We're both getting in trouble for
I'm
this.
an American citizen.
Right.
Are you an American citizen? I don't think so.
Oh, damn.
Okay.
Okay, now that we gotten that out of the way, and ICE will be knocking at the door after this podcast is over. Let's establish this. So, do you feel, in coming here to Texas or being born here in San Antonio, how much of an attempt have you made to reconnect with your culture, if so, and learn about it every day?
That's actually a good question.
Thank you. I'm actually really scared. I don't know what to ask you, so I'm just trying to trek along.
No, that's like a great question. Because, okay, so in Mexico, like, yeah, you live in Mexico, what about it? No, like, it's not a big deal. But here, if you say you're from Mexico, it's like a whole different thing. Because there's like this perception they have of like Mexican culture, which can be true, but it varies depending on like what region of the country you grew up in. And growing up in like Nuevo León, which is, I'm sure you don't know about it, but it's like the northern part of the country, and growing up in like Veracruz, where I'm from, which is like the southern, I think it's in the east. Yeah. Growing up in that part of the country is like a whole different story. But yeah, I feel like you can like more. I didn't know I had this pride about my country until I came here.
What would you... Okay, so the only reason... What are you proud about now that you're here and now that you've kind of established a sense of nationalism for where you... not the country you're from, but where you're from, what would you say you're proud of? And what would you say...
First of all, the food.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Well, you're comparing it to bean food, which is like...
No. Even like restaurant-wise...
And, okay, continue.
Even restaurant-wise, like... Even if you go to a Mexican like restaurant here, it's not even close to what food is actually like. Or... Yeah, they do have like the way of like preparing things, like plating them. But it's not the same like seasoning, it's not the same ingredients, it's not as fresh as maybe it is back home. Yeah.
What have you done to, and I already asked, because food is a huge aspect of, do you have any places here that you found that you can actually say remind you of home, or have you yet to find places here that remind you of home?
I haven't.
Have you been looking, or is it kind of just like pointless because you're in like freaking Abilene, Texas?
No, I think it's pointless, because like, okay, the food that's here, even in San Antonio, there's good food, but it's like Tex-Mex, which is something people don't really realize about Mexican food that they have here. It's Mexican. It's just like the part of Mexican culture that is over here in the U.S. Not really the OG Mexican culture. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you ever feel like you're losing your own culture every day in a sense by not only because, okay, if you explain the timeline, which I'll leave you to do, you were born here and then you moved to Mexico for how long?
I was 3 years old when I moved there.
Okay.
And that's it. Like, I grew up there up until, like, 17 before I came here.
So how much of Texas do you remember before you moved?
None. Like, I just know Texas based on, like, holidays. Because, like, every summer I would, like, come here with my dad or his family, and that's it.
So why do you call yourself a whitewashed Hispanic?
I don't call myself that.
You don't?
I don't.
I've heard you call yourself that numerous times. Could it be jokingly
No.
the fact that you
I don't
listen to
say
Taylor
that
Swift?
about myself.
Okay.
I say that about other people.
So do you not fear becoming what you accuse others of? Knowing that you're surrounded by a completely anomalous environment, knowing that you don't have many places to remind you of home, knowing that the people that you have here that remind you of back home aren't exactly always the people that you want to be around, if that's okay to say.
The thing about being whitewashed is, why would I be whitewashed if all I've ever known is Mexico?
Okay.
I get it, like, sometimes Hispanics over here, like, I can get why they're whitewashed, because, like, all they know is the U.S. Like, that's all they know about, especially when their parents are like, no, don't go to Mexico, because it's, like, the hood. Which it is. It is. I'm not saying it's not, because it's, like, dangerous. I'm not saying it's not. But it's not all that. Like, it's also, like, a beautiful country with beautiful people.
What are some beauties about Mexico that you can share with us? Well, not just a Canadian like myself, but to Americans who stereotype Mexican culture quite typically. Like you just said, people consider it to be the hood. So do you have some beauties that you would like to share?
Yeah.
You know, you can share both sides because they're two extremes. But, yeah, some beauties, since people typically don't like to narrate those sides.
I feel like people think that, okay, if you go to Mexico and you go out, you're going to get shot. Or you're going to get, like, something's going to happen to you. Which can. I'm not saying it can't. It's not true. But, like, I've never had anything bad like that happen to me. Like, all I've ever witnessed is, like, yeah, maybe, like, a couple of shootings. But that's it. Like, I have never been threatened. I have never been assaulted. That's kind of like a lie. But, like, not that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Not that bad is crazy. We don't have to talk about it because this will go...
This is not the place to.
Yeah, no, not as... Because finding your voice is a step-by-step process. And you're taking small steps by even being on this. So I appreciate you for sharing your voice and being here with me because you have such a fascinating story. And it's interesting as to how I discovered your story. It was kind of like just a collection of moments, which I like to call... divine ordinance, but as you and I both know, what do you believe in? Do you believe in... What do you believe in is a tough question, because I know that you yourself have...
I don't even know that
a take
answer.
on your faith, exactly. You had atheist, and then you had agnostic, and now you're here in a Christian environment. So I just spoke to you about you feeling like you're losing your identity in an American environment. But identity is also... Religion is a huge part of American identity, which I'm learning more than anything. I knew it was big, but this is crazy. Like, there's an entire Christian school that we are in. Mm-hmm. I don't...
And they combine, like, all aspects of life with religion. That's something, like, wild.
Like, fraternities and sororities are all religious-based, which, well, described as religion or relationship, whichever one. The Christian-based faith. So, like, first of all, do you profess yourself to be a Christian?
No, I don't.
You don't profess yourself to be a Christian. How do you end up in a Christian environment, and how do you see it impacting you on your day-to-day life?
Okay, so scholarships, first of all. And then I feel like, I don't know, I think it's like sort of like fate. Maybe I'm not becoming a Christian like in the near future, but like I'm learning about it, which is like not a bad thing.
Well, what do you think it means to be a Christian? Because a lot of the people that you're surrounded by, including myself, profess Christianity, but also fall to various, I think one of the more profound things that you said to me, which was the reason I wanted to get to know you more, and just it was really insightful. You said that you knew more people who weren't Christian, who were better people than the people who you were around right now who are Christian. How much of that affects you?
What do you mean affects you?
Okay, I should expound on that question. Or you can take it whatever direction you want, because I asked a very limiting question to a broad opening.
No, yeah. Okay. So, okay, I feel like if you're a Christian, you have to believe in God
Mm-hmm.
and that Jesus was like the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That
Okay.
and then like you have to live by the Bible, but like who really does that? Like the Bible is like a really big book, and it's like 1,023 years old, so I think it can be hard to keep up with it, especially right now in the time and age we live in. So like I understand why Christians don't really like follow it like to the letter. I think we're about to get kicked out.
We might.
No, never mind.
Okay. We have one more day in this country.
Whoa.
Yes.
But yeah, and then what I said about like Christians, the thing is like where I grew up or like my friends back home, none of them are really like religious. Like I had never talked about like with my friends about like God or like Jesus or like anything about that because they don't really believe in that. Like it's not a normal thing to like grow up Christian where I'm from, and the Christians that I knew back home, not here, back home, were like the most judgeful people ever, and they would be doing the worst things ever, and they would, I don't know, like it's just a whole thing I saw back home about Christianity, and then being like really, or also I have like an aunt back home, and she had like a whole face, if you want to call it like that, and she has like a couple of kids from different guys and whatever, and I'm not saying that's wrong, but like why now are you like professing to be like this God's person and like shaming others for what you've done? I think that's a huge part about Christianity, shame, because people, even if they don't realize it, they shame others for like what they do, thinking they're superior just because they have found God. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So do you abhor Christians? Not abhor is a strong word, but does it irritate you to see Christians, in a sense, those who are professing Christians, tend to shift accountability through a lens of Christianity? Or what is it? Is it the lack of accountability? Is it the fact? Because you mentioned shame, and I would want to expound on shame, but there are a lot more ways to go, and I kind of been working on towards this because like I was thinking to myself, I was like, after listening to the one with Melanie, I'm like, home runs don't always have to be hit. It can just be like a single or a double or maybe even a triple. Conversations oftentimes aren't always super insightful all the time. It kind of builds up to that. Otherwise, it's just unnatural.
Yeah.
But do you feel like your connection? So if you grew up in the USA, do you believe that you would have been raised Christian? Like,
no.
Or do you think that your parents would have brought their culture from back home, which would have been atypical to have been raised a Christian, and you would have been raised atheist-ish in America?
No, because I wasn't really raised atheist either. I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
But being Catholic in Mexico, at least, it's going to church once in a while, believing in God, but that's about it. And my mom's more devoted to like the Virgin Mary. Is that what you call it?
I believe that's what they call it here.
Yeah. So, that's a weird thing about me. Like, I'm not sure about God, but I do believe in the Virgin Mary.
Okay.
Mary the Virgin?
Virgin Mary is good, yeah. But
yeah.
Is it because she's gotten you through hard times, or?
No, not really. I mean, she once helped me to get tickets for a Harry Styles concert, which is funny, I know, but like she did, and I truly believe it was her. But apart from that, like it's my mom. She's always like devoted to her, and she's always like she always like prays for her, and she's like, I put me in your hands, and you're gonna like, I know you're gonna keep me safe. That's it.
Do you see anybody within, because like a lot of the people that you look up to aren't of the Christian faith, and in that you see that, because this shouldn't revolve around Christianity by any means, because you have your own identity, especially like rooted in your culture, rooted in finding your culture, rooted in being proud of the culture that you brought over here to Abilene, because a lot of what we have here is being stripped of it and being immersed into a new culture. It's like taking us from hot water and putting us into freezing cold water and dipping our heads in it and just telling us to figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe off topic, but do you think the people here are helping you with that? Or do you feel like you feel more lost with the people that you're surrounded by? And by no means is this addressed to anyone specifically, because to those who may hear it, I'm not saying this is going to get a huge viewership. But
They're
like,
not
if you
gonna
hear
hear,
this,
but
this is
yeah.
by no means addressed to anybody personally. This is just a broad question.
They're not gonna hear you because they don't like you.
Yeah, they do hate me. The people.
No, but I don't think that's. I have learned a lot from it. I won't lie. Like, just like from Bible class. Whoa, huge thing.
That's new.
I did not know what a disciple was. So I know that's like a messenger. Follower.
To some extent, I'd say follower is probably a better descriptor. Yeah.
One of those words. I know that. Like, I've learned a lot of things about Christianity or like faith. And I can see why people believe in it. And I already understood why people believe in it or why people choose to have a religion. I understand it. I just don't think it's for me.
Okay. What do you have faith in?
I have no clue.
Do you have faith in yourself?
I do.
You
in a weird way. I think I have like faith because everyone has some faith to some extent.
But apart from everyone, continue. I'm sorry.
But I think I have like faith in the universe as a whole, like energy flowing around. Maybe there's someone out there. Maybe there's not anyone. I'll leave it up to like whatever it is. I just know I don't know anything. That's really corny to say. But like,
you sound a lot like someone I know.
Shut up.
And because it was Socrates and Albert Einstein that said,
yeah,
the two-ness of the nature, in a sense of one thing that they know as they discover more is that they know nothing at all. And in knowing nothing at all, how does that allow you to see the universe? Do you kind of see it as a baby in a sense? How do you perceive yourself in the grand scheme of things if you don't know what you have faith in? I'm curious about this because, like, how do you see yourself in this universe and what role do you think you play without faith, if that makes any sense?
No, that.
Okay, so how do you see yourself in this world?
Okay, yeah. Sometimes I think of myself like, if I think it on like a bigger scale, it's really scary because like I'm just like one out of like I don't know how many billion people there are. But if I think it like right now in this university, like smaller scale, because if I think in my friend group, that's another thing. But right now in this university, I'm just like another student.
Do you feel important? Do you feel important at all to like somebody's life? And
yeah, for sure. I'm not saying I'm not important.
Okay.
I'm not that important.
Right, so like kind of like a mere existence in the grand scheme of a world that'll keep on going with or without us.
Yeah.
So how have you tried to capture every moment knowing that?
Because I know like people around me, that's why surrounding myself with like people I actually care about and I feel like I align with, it's like a really important thing. Even if I'm not doing it right now, it is like a huge thing for me. Because like I know that for my friends, I don't know about here, like back home, I know how much love they have for me or they've had and what would happen if we no longer like talk to each other. Or like if something were to happen to me, you know?
Yeah.
Or like if I make this decision and this consequence happens, how is it gonna impact like someone else's life?
The butterfly effect.
Yeah.
But your own little butterfly effect, do you have moments of that? Like, I say...
I'm gonna be honest with you,
yeah.
I have no clue what the butterfly effect is.
Okay, so I think I have a computer right here, but before I make that mistake, I'll tell you that originally I was doing research on the butterfly effect yesterday, and it was kind of the concept of how each small intricate thing may affect something else. So like if you went back in time and you dropped a pencil, it would result in a completely different timeline.
Oh, yeah.
So in a sense, like if I walk back to maybe that one day, instead of coming through the being to see you and have that one conversation with you, we don't sit across from each other right now because we wouldn't have taken the time to know each other. Because it takes one or two conversations to really get to know a person, especially profound conversations where... No, that's too much information.
Is that the time I cried about it?
I was going to say that, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it's...
I just cried about him yesterday. You don't have to worry about it.
Are you fine talking about your ex at all?
Yeah,
Are you comfortable doing it?
I am.
Do you fear you found the love of your life so early that now you look at love from a sense of trying to get back to the love you once had with him?
Okay. Yeah. To the first question, no to the second one. Because
Okay.
in like a sense, in a weird sense, I know I'm not ever gonna love anyone as much as I loved him. And that's like really scary. Cause like I just know it, you know? Like I don't have any argument to like support that. I just know it.
You have faith. You have faith that that's true.
Yep.
It's kind of interesting how that goes, but a little full circle moment there, a small one. You know, it's interesting talking to you about love because you've loved in a way that you've loved in a way that I've wished I've loved, but you also loved in a way that that also scares me because your situation is so intriguing. You've loved hard once. You consider this man to be a kind of, whether you say twin flame, soulmate, however you put it, a potential life partner, somebody who has fragments of your soul and you have fragments of theirs, his. And in a sense, it's weird because, like, I always looked at that type of love as beautiful. Like, what if I found it? What if I lost it, though? But I wasn't thinking about what if I lost it. But I look at the what if I lost it through you, and it hurts.
Yeah.
Because, like, a lot of our identity, like, by no means is your identity associated with one man, but it's weird in a sense. Once you love someone like that,
It's weird. Like no, I'm not looking at anyone.
you're fine.
Yeah. I just feel like before falling in love, it's like really scary because I had never fallen like that, and that's how you know it's the one. Wait. Huh?
So you say that because you hadn't fallen in love like that before, that's what makes it different. Okay, so you said...
Oh, but like wait.
Yeah.
So like
Continue. No, don't let me stop you.
and like I feel like once you fall like that, there's no way anything after that is gonna be like that. You know, like you cannot get hurt like that another time. It's that one time, and yeah, maybe it'll hurt after. Like if you meet someone after them, if I happen to like someone as much, not as much, like even like a quarter of what I loved him. Even if I get my heart broken after that, it's not gonna be like as bad as it was with him.
So do you feel guilty loving anybody after him, knowing that you will never like someone like he does, in a sense?
No,
Okay.
I don't.
That's
Cause like,
good. Because you have to allow yourself to love. 'Cause
No, yeah.
sometimes, ultimately, the love that we have for people, although it can't be replicated, it can be rediscovered.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
candles.
Like I know I'm not gonna love like that, but I can love another way, if that makes sense. There's not one way to love someone.
Right.
There's like different ways of how to do that.
What's a lesson... We always ask what's a lesson that you've learned through love, but what's a lesson that you've learned through the pain of having to love somebody like that far away, that you haven't seen, that you know you possibly could not, that if you do see them again, it may not be in the way you had seen them before. What's a lesson from the pain that you've learned from it?
In a weird way, I don't regret it, and like I would do it again over and over. And that's a good question.
Thank you.
Pain from loving someone. It's a good lesson, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend it, but at the same time I would, because like it makes you so much stronger. Because like I said, like I'm not gonna get hurt like that ever again. That's why I'm not scared to love anyone. That's why I can be like easy to play with me, because like I'm not scared to fall in love. And I think that's something most people don't have, because like I don't know anyone like that apart from me.
It's so admirable, because a lot of us build up safeguards, especially me, once you've loved hard once, and it's kind of something... I think you sent me this post about no love is ever wasted love, because all love is a beautiful form of love.
Yeah.
We are to see it as like glasses, or there is the match example, like you give someone the match and then you keep on. But the beautiful part is you continue to love despite having been hurt, and through the love and hurt, you continue to do it again and again and again, and then picking back up, and then loving again, and then loving. No, by no means is she just loving a bunch of people. She doesn't have these like hyper fixations, but like the love that you have for your friends is crazy. Like, how do you go from this environment back home where you seemingly leave every single person that has ever meant something to you, and you take that love and you come here, and it's like you haven't missed a beat.
The thing about back home, I want to like say that I didn't leave them like at all. Like, yes, I had my group of friends, but I kind of like slowly fell out of that friendship with most of them back home because things went down. Okay, shit happened, but I didn't really like cut them off. Like the ones that are like really important for me, they're still there, and I know they are, and they know I am. It's different not seeing each other like every day, but like they have like their life, they continue their schoolwork, they have other friends, new friends, and like I'm not sad about that. I'm just like, it's something that happens.
And considering your stance on love, you would do it all over again, right?
I would.
I hate to say, okay, so personally speaking, like leaving home, leaving Toronto was interesting. Toronto, you sick to your stomach? Yeah. Leaving Toronto was interesting because it was kind of, I left it very resentful because I had always been aware of the love that surrounded me, but what I wasn't aware of was just how much and how profoundly it impacted other people. I only found out about the love that I had and the people that I have that were eagerly awaiting to see me and for me to find my way through my own burdens to be able to love them, because I have an issue showing love.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy, right?
Oh.
And I felt like it shouldn't have taken 17 years for me to finally, well, even in the friendships that I developed, as soon as I said that I was leaving, I guess it's human nature to separate yourself before you hurt yourself too often. I mean, you hurt yourself too badly, kind of like building up those safeguards and protective mechanisms to stop yourself from being hurt too much. So you kind of separate yourself instead of having to feel the emotion, because it's a lot easier to fall from the first floor than the Empire State Building, you know? Yeah. And that's metaphorically speaking. So with me, it was weird because I went to Northern. I made a group of friends there that I'll never be able to replicate. They say that you, at some point, when you move a lot, you just begin to see new personalities, the same personalities with different faces. I've been blessed to be able to see each different personality with a different face. And I had to learn that that was merely a sense of my own perspective. I was limiting each person to another person's identity and not giving them the space to grow in my mind. Because we all exist differently in each other's minds. Like, to someone you just walk by in the library, you're a thought, an afterthought, THOUGHT, not to be confused with a thought, THOT. So somebody that may not ever be, who may not ever be mentally conceived again, whereas to someone like me, or someone like your family, to somebody like your friends, you're an integral part of their life. So I guess this could segue to the question, this could be her room. This could be her room.
She looked
pretty deep into your eyes. Yeah. She looked deep into those eyes and said, am I really? No, I'm kidding. Am I being replaced? Whoa. But no, it's hard. It's difficult. It's difficult to look at your life and all those mishaps and say that you do it again. But yet, do you think that you're living a life that if you were cursed to live it 1,000 more times, would you do it?
I would.
1,000%?
1,000%.
Through the horrors and through the
Everything
beauties?
I've ever lived. Would I change a couple of things? Maybe. But like,
Harry Styles
overall,
tickets from the Virgin Mary. That's going to be so sacrilegious to some people.
But it's true.
You use my Virgin Mary to
no,
get Harry
it's
Styles
true. Because Harry was coming to Mexico and the dates were like they sold out. That was like the last day of sales, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, please. If I get those tickets, I swear, and I haven't done that. I swear I'll go to the Mexico City. There's like a church there, and it's like a temple for the Virgin Mary. And you go there, and when you enter through the doors, you have to like get on your knees and walk all the way there. Yeah, so I said I would do that because my mom did it when I was born.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll do that for sure. I swear. At some point in my life, I'll do that. I'll do that. So I got them thanks to her. And I have to do that. I just don't know when. Because I haven't been to Mexico City.
Were you in Mexico? So like, I thought it would be like a same day delivery type thing. You get the tickets and then you go there and you're like, thank you, but no, wait, you.
No.
How long were you in Mexico after you got the Harry Styles tickets?
That was like last year, November.
You had a whole.
But I haven't been to Mexico City.
Oh man, how far is it from where you live?
Like 5 hours.
Oh.
But it's really dangerous. Like the highway.
As in dangerous in what way?
As you can get like robbed or kidnapped.
Like your life? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You know, you made a promise. I'm not saying you can't.
No, but like it's a thing there. Like, for example, my mom, when I was born, I was having like issues. I mean, I still have them, but like when I was in her womb, I had issues, health issues. So she was like, please, if she's born like normally or like safely, I'll go and say thanks to you, like in that way, you know. And she was obviously here, but when we got back there, she went to Mexico City. Like, I'm talking like 4 years after that. She went there and she did that.
Wouldn't it be nice if you got the chance to actually go to Mexico City with your mom and do that with your mom?
I'm planning on doing that.
Seeing that you're revisiting a generational cycle. I wouldn't say generational curse, but to you a generational blessing. Because your birth was the blessing of what your mom would consider a prayer to Virgin Mary. An opportunity for you to get tickets to something was a blessing by the Virgin Mary. Two major blessings. One doesn't happen without the other, and the common denominator is...
Like, logically, I know it was not the Virgin Mary. I just like to attribute that to her.
Could it have been anybody? And, okay, so that's interesting. It could have been anybody.
Yeah, it could have been anything.
It could have been anything.
But I just like to attribute that to her. And I think that's religion.
Is that because of your mom?
Yeah.
Okay. How much?
Okay, so my mom was the one that gave me the idea to like pray to her. She was like, pray to her. You'll see it happens. And it happened.
Do you think you're slowly separating yourself from... No, because you have your own foundation. It'd be stupid to say how much of your foundation is built by your mother, because that's like that's our primary form of development, what we see from our parents.
Yeah, but no, I don't really share. I share the kind of same values, but not really. Because like everything I think about religion is not what she thinks about religion. Or everything I think about like women's rights, for example. That's not what she thinks. Now she's kind of like switching up. That's because of me. Because I just talk up with her about like things I know or I think about, and she's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
What about love? Does she have a story similar to you and your ex?
No. Oh, that's a weird question. Because I know my mom's like, she's kind of like me, but she can be, my mom's she can be manipulated like very easily. I know that for a fact because I'm not proud of this, but I've found it.
Makes it two of you. That's funny. It's ironic. It's very ironic.
Shut the fuck up, Dawson.
Oh.
Bitch, don't. But yeah, my mom's that kind of person. And I know for a fact that she's been manipulated by my dad. That's the one I know about, and I'm pretty sure she's had like more exes that have done that. And she can be guilt-tripped into doing a lot of things. And my mom has her own issues. And do I think I kind of have them?
Inherited them by any chance?
Yeah, not really. Some of them, maybe. Because at the end of the day, that's who I grew up with. You kind of like share them, even if you don't want to.
Your gene pool is also 50% her as well.
Yeah.
And we inherit a lot of the traits of the parent who is actually present, like, every day. You see it, I saw this thing, it was kind of like, somebody, like, I quote my mentor's story quite a bit, Jamal Berger, because his story is admirable.
Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal, all right. Jamal Berger's story is admirable to me.
What you mean, white?
No, Jamal Berger's, well, he's light-skinned, so, like, he's 2 winters from being white. He's not going to hear this, so we're
Winters.
fine. 2 winters, but 2 Canadian winters. When I was in a relationship, I reached out to him with a really long paragraph, and I'm not gonna misquote him because he said something so beautiful that I couldn't leave it alone. He actually wrote me a note before I left the city, which kind of reminded me of something. He said, I'm practically...
French?
No, c'est pas en français. He said, I'm practically 2 times your age and I still deal with everything you're saying. Accepting the fact that it never goes away is a weight I hopefully comes off your shoulder instantly, and this was about insecurity. The feeling of concern, fear is something that you'll always deal with, but it comes down to courage, self-discovery, and confidence. Step 2, your mom's perception of your dad may affect how you feel about yourself because your dad is still a big part of you. You and your dad will naturally share tendencies, but it doesn't mean you'll repeat it. You're doing better than you think, and the dedication is clear. You're beating yourself up because you have this idea of repeating cycles, but you're not. And it's kind of interesting because Jamal had a very fascinating relationship with his dad, and I'd like to speak to him about it more in depth if I ever have the chance to, not publicly, but just privately, because a lot of the things I do are modeled after him. And before his dad died, he got the chance to reconcile with him. By reconcile, I mean his dad hadn't really been in his life. If I'm wrong, then he'll correct me at some point, because he lurks on my stuff and he'll text me out of the blue like, you're wrong. I'm like, all right, I'll correct it. But he got to reconcile with his dad and realize how much of his dad is inherited. And by looking in a mirror and trying to rid himself of his dad's influence, he virtually became that man by taking away from himself, because he realized that he was repeating a cycle that his dad had tried. His dad looked at his dad and tried not to repeat the cycle, but then did it inadvertently. Jamal tried to look at his dad and not repeat that cycle, but then did so inadvertently, which hurt himself and all those that he knew. So he spoke with him. He sat down with him. And he really came to peace with who he was and understanding that his dad's a huge part of him, whether he likes it or not, and that he has to start seeing the life of it instead of the ugly side of it. Would you ever sit down with your mom and have a conversation like that, or have you, about virtues, values in her life that you see that you've inherited, that you think you really need to take hold of and either rid yourself of or heal from or heal with, maybe, in a sense?
I kind of talked to her about it, and okay, so a couple of years, by a couple I mean like a lot of years ago. Actually, not. It was like 6 years ago. Yeah, I was going through like a very depressive cycle in my life, and I was like not in the best mental state ever. And I talked to her about it, and she was like, yeah, I also like struggle. And that's when we like actually connected, because I don't remember anything before that. I just remember after that. And yeah, and we just talked about it, and she opened up to me, and that's like the first time I saw my mom like as a human being, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we don't really realize how much our moms really do, or that they are actually their own person.
Yeah.
So after that, we talked about it, and she opened up to me, and I feel like I just realized how much my mom has been through, and that made me like trust her, and that's how we kicked off our relationship. And that's why I trust her so much, and she's like my best friend. That sounds lame, but it's not lame.
You're talking to a person who you know his mom is also his best friend. It's weird. And
like comparing it to like others, when some of my friends has like relationships with their mom, I feel sad for them, because we were just talking about this like an hour ago, no, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
About how they wanted to like raise their kids, and she was like, they were like, I just want my kids to like trust me with what they going with, or like if they go out, I just want to know that I'm there for them even if they do something bad. Like I just want them to be safe and yada yada yada. And I was like, so basically what me and my mom have, because like if I go to a party, I know I can tell my mom. And if something happens to me, even if it's bad, even if I'm like drunk at like 5 a.m. and I know I'm gonna get like punished or something, I know I can call her and she'll be there. She'll go for me, she'll pick me up, she'll take care of me, she'll make sure I don't get like the worst hangover of my life, and she'll be there, you know? And that's it. Like, that's how me and my mom work. As long as I am safe, that's all she wants to hear about.
That's the same thing with my mom. I had an incident, but it wasn't really an incident per se. It was just, I think my mom had punished me for it, and in hindsight, I look back at it. She didn't punish me because of the action itself, because she understood that things happen. She punished me because I didn't confide in her to help me get out of it. And in a sense, humanizing our parents, it's very important. I realized something. It took me, I still humanize my mom to some extent. Like, if you look at my notes, I have like 15 questions that I hope to ask her one day. It's things to understand about Sabina.
Getting faster at dunking, what is that?
That's for basketball and track. That was, man, I hope to be in that mentality one day. But it's things to understand about Sabina. Like, what was your biggest dream when you were young?
Sabina in all caps is crazy.
I love my mom. It's according to my parents to marry a garbage man. I also had a dream to become a neurosurgeon. She has a lot of very descriptive answers and whatnot, but I think that was intriguing because I know a lot about my mom and who she is now, but the development of who she is now and seeing that, that's hilarious. Look who just texted me. My mom.
No.
Her ears were ringing. But no, she said, according to my parents to marry a garbage man, I also had a dream of being a neurosurgeon. She had a dream of being a lot of things, but ultimately having to put that to the side, not the garbage man thing, because that would have never come to fruition. Or maybe it would have. If you hear how she and my dad have better relationships now. It took a while, but they can actually be in the same room now. Yeah. But no, she seeing the child in her, and then understanding that child is very much still there is really a beautiful thing. And the relationships that we have with our moms, of course, like my parents, my mom and my dad, but the relationship that we both share with our mom is incredible. Do you find yourself...
I do have dad.
I know you have a dad.
Yeah.
And he just pays your phone bill.
Do I really?
Do you have a dad?
No, he no longer pays my phone.
Oh, not anymore?
No.
So you getting a new phone? Or, wait.
No, I got my new phone from my brother.
Yes, ma'am. It's nice and whatnot, but damn, a lot of Snapchat notifications. You haven't been pleasing your suitors? That one's interesting. That one's intriguing. Do you want to talk about that?
No, I don't want to.
Do you want to talk about that?
I don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about that?
Especially not here.
Oh yeah, good point. This is like a conversation, but that's a little too... I'll turn it off and talk about that after. But do you see yourself being a mom and a lot of the friends... And now that you understand your mom and what she's been through, how much slack have you cut her for a lot of her decisions? How much slack, or would you say that you... Because we're very critical on our parents, especially at younger ages. Do you think you've been able...
No, I think I've been way too harsh on my mom sometimes, especially with my dad's situation, because she really apologizes for my dad a lot. Like, he'll do things that I'm not okay with and that I don't agree with, and she'll be like, well, but it's your dad at the end of the day. You know, like, she's like my father's apologist, you know?
That's kind of like what you are to us.
Huh?
Like, it's fun. No, continue your point and then I'll elaborate.
Okay, yeah. And I know she does that because she's still in love with him. That's pretty much clear to me. So for some time, I resented her for that because, like, my dad's not been the best dad ever. He's not even been a dad to me. That's the thing. He hasn't been a dad. So, and her constantly, like, defending him and being like, talk to him. Look out for him and approach him and saying that with him clearly not showing interest in me. Like, how am I supposed to do that? And how are you telling me to do that when you know how he is? Because he does the same thing to her. Like, he'll talk to her, like, maybe for a week, disappear, not show up for, like, a year, and then come back, okay? So I got so mad because I was like, how are you asking me to do that? And knowing how much it has, like, affected me and my mental health, like, my dad's situation. It's over now. But, like, years back, how was she able to do that? And I think I overlooked the fact that she's in love. Because, like, again, after being in love, like, I kind of get it. I'm not saying it's the right thing, because, like, she drags me with her decisions, but, like, I kind of understand why she did or does the things she does. Does that make sense?
Yeah, hold up, wait a minute. So, in continuing on the point that I had made, to elaborate on me saying that you kind of become, you have these people that treat you horribly. I don't mean men, I mean men and women both here, that have treated you horribly, that have done terrible things to you, and yet despite that, you continue to either give them the benefit of the doubt or you inherit. It's like, it's weird because it kind of seems like you at 18 are starting to see your mom at the same level. Like my friend Randy, she at some point read her mom's diary and realized that a lot of the life that she's living now and that her mom is so hard on her for is the life that her mom lived to the T, almost exactly. And she got the blessing of being, you're good, of being able to see her mom at her age. And it was like, she had given her a journal to speak to Randy. It's like a guide. She had given her a guide to who she is. Because in that guide, she was able to deduce that her life was inherited from her mom. It was a lot of her mom. So with you, like, you do that all the time. You give us the benefit of the doubt. You give people who mistreat you the benefit of the doubt constantly, which isn't a bad thing by any means. You have a pure heart, which is a great thing, and you continue to love despite being shunned for it, which is why I wrote a poem about you. But, like, do you understand that that's a cycle? That, like, do you see it as a curse, or do you see it as a blessing? Like,
I don't think of it as a curse, because, like, at the end of the day, yeah, forgiving people, or, like, not forgiving, but, like...
Forgiving is the right word.
Yeah.
Because you're, like, a very forgiving person.
And I was not. I've changed a lot. Because if you would have talked to my, like, 14-year-old self, I was the most, like... I held so many grudges that it became, like, so
unhealthy.
Hard to, like, keep up with them, Especially to my dad, a couple of other friends back home. But yeah, like, I just realized that what's the point of that? Like, I don't get nothing out of that. Even if, yeah, they did me wrong. What am I gonna do?
What do they say? It's like drinking the poison and expecting the other person to be affected by it.
Exactly.
So what would you say to that 13-year-old self?
Huh?
How would you help them? How would you help that 13-year-old self through their grudges, through their anger? How would you...
I would just say let it go. It's not that big of a deal.
You think a 13-year-old you would have listened to you?
No.
Were there people at that time when you were 13 that tried to get through to you?
No.
Who do you look up to?
Apart
from your mom, who do you look up to?
My grandma.
What about your grandma so admirable to you? Is she your mom in a sense, or is she completely different?
No, she's completely different.
Is that why you look up to her, or is there another reason for it? That you're comfortable sharing, of course, because...
No, there's, like, other reasons, but, like, the biggest one, and I think she's, like, affected the way I view men, to be honest, like, because, like, she's the biggest man hater. It's just, like, men are she's not like that, but, like,
it's
fine. Yeah.
You understand why, though?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because, like...
You don't have to say why, that's her business.
Yeah, that's her business, but, like, men have done it wrong.
Okay.
So she had to learn the hard way. It's, like, she's, like, the only thing that's gonna, like, look out for her. Like, she's her own person, and that's the only one that she can, like, count on herself. So she's told me, like, many stories about, like, her past and everything, and I can understand why she is the person she is now. However, I do know that there's, like, another side of that story because of my mom. Because my mom, she's really grateful for my grandma, and I'm not saying she's not. But, like, there's, like, a love-hate relationship there, which she tries to, like, avoid with me, and I think she did a great job with that. But, yeah, my grandma's just, like, she's a really good person. She is. She's like the biggest, like, hardworking woman I know.
So who would you want to play you out of everybody who you know in a movie about your life up to now? it's a weird question, right?
Uh-huh.
It's a really weird question. But like the undertone here is, who do you trust the most with your character in writing it without your supervision? Who would you trust the most to script your life in a way that you see deserving or fitting? Who can you really can put a paper in front of them and say, who am I? And trust that they know you, they see you, your soul, your spirit, and not just your actions itself.
Oh, my best friend back home, the one that's like my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Either him, or I'm thinking you, but you don't really know that, like that, to that level.
I can make assumptions based on what I have, but I'm
Yeah,
not
but even-
deserving of it just yet. And I'm leaving you too soon, so.
That's not the thing for me. You know, that's not a problem for me. That's the thing, like people leaving my life and me leaving other people's lives, like that's not a big deal for me.
You still maintain.
Yeah, even if I'm not a good texture, the thing about like, what?
I didn't. No. But I know.
You made a face.
I need to start recording these actual things like on camera so that people can see those little moments. Because no, you're not a bad texter. I was hurt that day, so I kind of said that you're a bad texter.
No, but I
didn't really
am.
mean it.
I know I am. Cause like so the only way I communicate with my friends back home is sending them reels. I'm not kidding.
But that's a form of love as well. It means
Exactly.
you thought of them.
That for me, that's how I show like.
Better
my
not be just you sending them the
appreciation for them.
N-word though, because like.
No, because they're not black. So.
But if they were moreno, or is that close enough for you?
No, it's not close enough. Oh yeah, I send them like racist jokes though. But I don't really have any like dark.
We got her. No, I'm
I don't really
kidding.
have any dark skinned friends back home. So, like I have one, but he doesn't know English, so he doesn't really get the.
What was it like coming here? Because
You already know that.
No. That's
You
exactly.
already
I
know
know.
that.
All right. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't talk about that for your sake. Because you're like.
Not on here. Not on
Okay.
the record.
Yeah. Not on record. Elida with black friends. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Your friends would be so happy for
Not only
you.
black friends.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Okay, so for the record, no. Okay, so in speaking about the 3 generations of love, your grandmother, horrible experiences. Your mom, also not so great experience, but love is a drug, and unfortunately, it's powerful.
It is.
And your generation of love. How would you wish your kid to love if you had the chance to, let's just say you have control over your kids? Would you want your kid to go through the same thing you did?
No.
Would you want your kid to be experiencing the feelings that you're experiencing now?
I don't know, cause like that's the thing. Like, even if I wanted to, I don't know how to control someone else's life. Like I cannot dictate how my kid is gonna be.
I should reformulate the question.
No, I kind of would. I get where you're coming from. But like, that's really hard for me to like picture. Because that's not something I wouldn't want to do.
You basically be picturing yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what you're... Do you ever look at yourself from other views, through other eyes, and think to yourself, what am I doing?
No. I think of myself through other people's eyes, and I'm like, how am I so great?
You mean that?
I do.
Okay,
I actually
good.
do. Like, I just think of myself like as a good person.
You wanna do something real... This is like hit or miss, so like... You wanna read the poem that was written about you?
Oh, yeah, sure.
The If Our Paths Never Come Back, Sorry Remains a Forever Echo in the Black.
No, I won't be able to read it like without crying. Can you read it for me?
Yeah. This one's for a couple people, but notably Elida Tovias, who this was written for. So I'll read this in the best English I can, because Elida doesn't think I know how to read.
Do it with your Toronto accent.
Yeah. Sick to my stomach. I'll conjure it up from... all right, so... In shadows I dwell, regret in each breath. To you whom I've wronged, I confess my soul's death. Which is funny, because I know nothing of your wrongs towards him. Promised refuge, yet became the storm's wrath. I wore a mask, leading our hearts to the death. Promised trust, but broke it apart. A figure of hope, then a harbinger of dark. Moments of joy, now buried in stark. I turned our symphony into a mournful lark. In a world of harsh, I added to your strife. Promised a sanctuary, brought in the knife. You defended me as shadows took life. Your love, your trust cut by my strife. I became what I vowed to never be. okay, wait, this is the first of two, but there's a second one that was a little, yeah, it was in Heart's Quiet Chambers, You'll Forever Stay. There were two, but this one doesn't apply to you as much.
Yeah, I was
That
like,
one,
whoa, I
yeah,
don't
no,
really...
this one was the poem for you because that one was more or less my wrongs. Okay, so in a hidden note to you unseen, the confessions of a heart laid bare and keen, a melody of love's first delicate song, its notes both hauntingly sweet and tragically long. A tender age when hearts are wild, caught in a tempest, love's beguiled. The rush of dopamine, fierce and stark, illuminating the night, igniting the dark. Yet in love's maze no map unfurls, drifting on dreams as the dance whirls, echoes of fairy tales of innocent gaze, chasing that magic through life's intricate maze. In a fleeting moment, one's essence can fade into the embrace of a shadowy shade. Pain, our duet, a poignant theme, a bittersweet symphony, a distant dream. You, my cherished and beautiful blight, my favorite transgression, bathed in moonlight. That's a crazy line now that I think about it. My favorite transgression, bathed in moonlight. Which is funny because that's exactly what you've been describing this whole time. In the silence of thoughts, in the depths of the night, your memory a wound, both pain and delight. Yet within that torment a solace I find. In your eyes a promise undefined. For even in parting, love's cruel divide. Forever in spirit I remain by your side. In pain, there's a lesson in sorrow, a grace. Of the beauty of love time cannot erase. Though destiny chose for our paths to sway, in the heart's quiet chambers you'll forever stay. I know, your own little poem, but...
That makes me cry every single time, I swear.
But why?
You know why.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, when people come up to me and they're like, oh, I like your writing, I'm like... It's a me issue at that point.
I think, yeah, I think it's a you issue, and I feel like when you know it's about yourself and you can relate to that, or especially when you can relate to something, it's like deeper.
Yeah. Do you relate? No, I can't ask that question yet because it's too early. You're still going through it, so I guess I'll have to see that develop through time and write poem. I was gonna see that. Do you relate through that more through your pain or through your like? Cause it's my greatest transgression bathed in moonlight. Like, do you see it as?
The thing about it is like.
I can't describe it because I've never experienced that type of love.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping and leaning on you to help me here.
Okay, so I don't really think, and I think it's because like nothing really bad happened. Like we didn't break up because he did something or I did something. You know, It was just like circumstances.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most painful part, because I hold no hate for him, like none. And that's kind of like hard. I'm not gonna lie, because like when you like get over someone, it really helps you. And I don't think people realize that when you hate someone and you're trying to get over them, it's really helpful. That hate is like really helpful. But when you don't have that hate, it's even like harder, because you just have to go on and accept that things weren't just meant to be, even if they were. Maybe you cannot do anything about it, you know.
I trust your insight and I trust your opinion, because a lot of people look at hate as a detriment in a lot of things, but it's kind of like Inside Out. You remember that scene where like, I don't know if it was Bing Bong,
I have
but
never watched.
Okay, it's a beautiful film. I'd recommend watching it. And it's funny because
I don't like animations.
That's fair. All right, I'll describe it. So there's joy and sadness. They're kind of allegories of real personalities within Riley's mind.
I know the whole concept, I just haven't watched it.
So Joy, Bing Bong's sad, right? And he's going through, and Joy's perspective is more or less a perspective of joy, absolute happiness. But she can't reach him because he's in despair, he's sad. He can't be reached in his darkness through light because the light isn't clearing the way. But it was through sadness and her darkness that allowed him to see that there is some optimal light to actually look forward to. And in a way, oftentimes we look at hatred as something that we should shame. We go back to shame. We should shame ourselves for feeling anger. We should shame ourselves for feeling guilt. We should shame ourselves for having these fundamentally, societally, not very much acceptable behaviors. How did you learn to accept hate and accept that anger and use it and understand that it's not something to be ashamed of, but something...
I feel like that way about like all emotions. Like I don't think anger is like a bad thing. I don't think like holding a grudge is necessarily a bad thing. I just think you need to learn how to use them in your favor. Because like I said, like even though anger, it's just like everything, you know, like too much of something is not good. Like that's it. Like too much happiness is not that good. Too much anger is not that good. You just need to balance it and like find a way to use that anger, because you feel it. That's the thing. You cannot stop yourself from feeling some things, you know, certain type of emotions. You just need to learn how to like use those emotions to your favor and not harm other people in the way.
Do you feel like you harmed other people in the way, or do you think you succeeded in not doing so? Actually, have you harmed yourself in the way? That's what I'm more intrigued by, because we inadvertently harm people without even realizing it sometimes.
Yeah.
But how much have you harmed yourself in that journey?
I don't think I have. Like me hurting myself, I don't think I have.
Not physically, I mean.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. But like
It's a funny paradox, isn't it? You want to know why it's funny? Because in a sense, the love that you have is so beautiful and poignant, but yet so gripping and painful.
Yeah.
Because it rips away at your heart, but yet it gives your heart substance at the same time. It's in that pain that you find your substance in that love. And it's really weird how it works. I hope to never be in your position, but I hope to one day love someone like that.
That's the thing. Everyone wants to love someone
until you,
and they never want to like suffer. You know, like it comes with it. You cannot love someone and not suffer.
It's like it was so corny, but it was like what Keanu Reeves said. He was like, this lady was like, I'm not a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, and he was like,
you cannot be a lover without being a fighter.
Correct. And I want to actually quote a poem my mom wrote.
Yeah.
Sabina wrote a poem. Susie Beans. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. It's called "You Want What You Want Until You Don't Want It." And it doesn't speak to love, but you'll be able to relate it because universal human experience. There will be some undertone in there. In youth's bright bloom, a heart aflame, a myriad of dreams unclaimed, eager hands, the world to tame. In every breath a wish named, stars whispered secrets in night's embrace, ambition sown in fertile ground, each step forward a fervent chase. In the mirror of time a purpose found, prayers woven through the silent night, desires clung like a tight suit, through trials, joys, and fleeting sights. The quest deepened as the seeker grew, with every dawn a promise made, a relentless march towards the unseen. Sacrifices on ambitions, altars laid, for a glimpse of what could have been, the heart a compass ever true, guided by the North Star's glow. Yet in its beating, something withdrew, a silent echo of forgotten woe. Then the summit bathed in golden light, the dream's silhouette now clear. In the moment bereft of delight, a revelation stark and severe, gazing upon the conquered sphere, where fulfillment's rivers should flow, yet in the heart a void so severe, an emptiness none could foreknow, in triumph's shadow a silent query. Why does victory taste so bland? Why does my everything seemingly feel like nothing? Oh, this is like I don't know. I don't know what this is for. But yeah,
okay.
That's what she wrote. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah. My mom is quite the writer. And I don't want to hear any of Sabina, I didn't write it, she wrote it. So believe me when I tell you this. And
did you write it?
No, she wrote it.
Okay.
So, quality over quantity, of course. In reflecting on what you said, is there anything that you like to expound on, clarify, clear up, or just feel the need to say before we end off?
I just feel like I said, like you said, like you're afraid you'll ever love someone like that. And I know it can be hard, but like don't be afraid to love. I just want to say that, like, if you ever feel like you're falling in too deep, don't take it back. Don't ever worry about that. Because if you keep on worrying about, oh, what if I get my heart broken? Or what if they treat me wrong? Or what if are you just using me? Like, yeah. But like, who cares about that? Risk it. Go for it. Don't be afraid of something happening to you. Because, yeah, if you keep yourself like in this bubble, nothing will ever happen to you. But then again, nothing will ever happen to you.
Beautiful reflection. I thought this was going to be you taking some time to clear up some things about you, but no, you addressed it to me, which is weird because I'm not oftentimes in the seat where I'm being perceived. So.
Bro, you're such an intriguing person. I think about you not that much, but like a good
you
hour.
have to clear that one up.
But like a good hour of my day goes about thinking about you.
You know what? We'll talk about the fact that I don't think I'm too intriguing another day, but maybe I'll be in your hot seat one day and I'll have to sit across from you.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. I'll have to sit here and be like, yeah, you know?
Tingle.
You know? I don't know if that's what I'm going to name the episode. Big Tango, I can't. Big I have is crazy.
Big Tango.
Okay, I think I asked you this question, but as of right now, at the age that you are, you almost minor, because you just turned 18.
That was 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been 18 for a while now.
What would be a movie title that you title? If you had to pick a title for your life, what would you title it?
Wow. That's a good question. Wow. Again.
Good questions. Three good questions. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not creative.
You don't have to be. What resonates with you? And creativity is not it's a trait. It's all around us. You are creative. This is creative. You just poured a creative space into this. So.
Okay, no, I don't have anything.
You don't have anything?
I don't. Whoa.
My mom said mommy loves you. Yeah. It's very sweet.
What would you name my life for what you've known so far?
I was actually going to ask you what you title your mom's life, because you see yourself a lot through your mom. So I was wondering if you'd be able to make a title for her life, and that would probably apply to you, because you're better at identifying things for others than you are for yourself from time to time.
But then again, who isn't? Unless you're really self-centered.
Okay.
My mom. I would title her life like How to Love like Unconditionally.
That's the name of the episode. How to Love Unconditionally.
Okay.
And the next time we'll talk about forgiving your dad, but we're nowhere near there yet, because that Negro's not paying your phone bill, so let's lock in.
That's never happening.
All right. Well, thank you very much for being a guest, and I hope that you weren't too hurt. I hope the deleted takes find the light of day someday. Thank you. That was a high five to all of you. Oh, a song. What song do you want?
Can I say Taylor Swift?
Yeah,
no,
absolutely. It's your show.
A song. Oh, I know which one. Patadas de Ahogado by Umbe in Latin Mafia.
You're going to have to help me with that one, but I'll find it. But
I'll send it to you.
And with that, we say farewell. Bye.
Tengo.
Okay.